Welcome back to the Money Focus Podcast. I'm your host, Moses the Mentor. And on this episode, I'm thrilled to have Chanel Power with us. Chanel is the founder and CEO of Mentor Me Collective, which is an organization dedicated to closing wealth gaps through affordable education and workforce training. She's helped hundreds of people become first-generation technologists. And I'm just so excited to get to know her more in this episode. Hope you are too. Let's go.
Thanks again for having me. This is so amazing. And I just want to salute you for the work that you're doing and just uplifting the community when it comes to how we as a people can come together and share resources. So just want to shout that out. So as you knew, I'm Chanel, born and raised in New York City. My mom was a single mom and I have two other siblings. And so growing up in New York City, my mom really focused a lot on making sure that we had quality education. It was a very huge deal in our house. And she went through so many loops to make sure that we were at the best schools, at least the most well thought out schools, I'll say, in New York City, that we could, afford through public education. So anyway, in retrospect, I discovered at an early age that I really had a love for mathematics and science as it became and was really natural to me. I also had a passion to help those who were affected, families who were affected, people who were affected by addiction. And I was trying to figure out if there was a minimally or non-invasive way to have some kind of surgical application to help those who were struggling in that means. And so, like I said, came to college, wanted to pursue it, had various opportunities to intern. And I just realized that maybe this may not be for me. Also, having to retake a whole bunch of classes. With biology, I was like, but I was staying true to the path, y'all. But I ended up graduating with a double major in math and chemistry. And thankfully, throughout my collegiate career, I've been blessed. The Lord has blessed me with having a multitude of experiences and job opportunities from, the health sector, from being a medical scribe in the pharmacy, working with the VA hospital, maybe on the other end, trying to fill in during the school year or the academic school year as a STEM educator, creating different kinds of curriculum for kids and getting them, STEM. And on the other end, leaning into like the operations or the administrative side of work. So moving forward, I graduated. I was on my way to medical school, but I told my mom, I was like, actually, I think I want to take some time for myself. And, single parent, Black mamas who have invested in you becoming the first doctor of the family. Honey, my mama was not trying to hear that.
Not
but
that
I really
bill. Ain't too old for a walker.
Right. She was so not having it. My mom was traditional, like old school. And so I was like, Mom, I just want some time. Me, very millennial, I need some time for me. I need to find myself, because I felt like a lot of my who I was very much encompassed in the work that I did and all the things with school. But thankfully, the Lord touched her heart because I was praying. I said, Lord, please touch her heart. And she said, okay, you can take a year off. I didn't know that 1 year would turn into many years later. I took some time and I said, Lord, I'm going to pray, I'm going to fast, and I'm going to believe that you have something for me. And if indeed your word is true, that you say you have a plan for me, not to harm me, to give me hope, to give me purpose, to give me a future, then I'm going to ask that you show me that it is true. I always tell people, your story and everything that you do, everything that you've done, every path that you've taken, it's all intentional. It all makes sense along the way. I was like, Lord, help me to figure out how I can make tangible impact in the community. And I went and prayed, and the Lord was like, well, why don't you help people, those who have been recently furloughed, those who have, coming out of college into this, economy, help them with getting their next steps. And I began to research, what does it look like for wealth to come back into the Black community? I didn't know anything about the Black wealth gap. During that time where I found a lot of information around it and realized how aligned the work, that I felt like I was supposed to do really helped to combat that. During that time, I spent, the majority of my time with helping individuals. I had a post that went up May 29th, 2020. Hey, if anybody needs help, happy to provide free resources and help, for 15 minutes, let's have a conversation so I can help. And so, it turned into I think 300 plus people signing up overnight. So over the next 3 months, I was super busy. So many things were, obviously happening. And we honestly grew and kind of converted into something again, like overnight. So really quickly, ramped up a website, ramped up this and that to just help again to support. And honestly, trusting God that He had my future already planned out, and just resting in that, I've been able to be blessed in this opportunity in this space. And honestly, didn't know that Mentor Me Chanel at that time would even turn into Mentor Me Collective. I was just doing it out of obedience. But after a while, I thought, okay, well, now it's 2021. We're still going. Now it's 2022. We're still going. And 23 and 24. Yeah. And here we are.
All right. So you walked through the birth and being faithful throughout that process, the birth of Mentor Me Collective. And that's a great story. And, I appreciate you giving that information. But, now I want you to not be humble at this moment, because the program has since made some great strides. And you have a partnership with Google. I see my feed is flooded with people who are giving you praises, and you're doing some great work. So talk to me about from that time when you start really getting your traction and you start getting some strategic partnerships to help magnify the mission. What was that experience like?
So that's a great question. To be honest, it came out of nowhere. For me, doing the work was very much about the people. And oftentimes, when you see a whole lot of communities and initiatives start up, you hope that that is the case. But when you realize that they're not around anymore, you realize that it really was not. So for me, I said, Lord, if anything, I don't want to be a person, if anything, because at that time I wasn't even thinking about the organization. I don't want to be a person who starts something and not finishes, or doesn't continue to do it with my whole heart. So to your point, as people begin to see the heart behind the mission, the heart behind the organization, and understand that the impact of super, was there, it was, I guess, easy for people to see the value in joining. But for me, I would say that there was a little bit of disbelief, because again, it was never started for that. You know what I mean? But I would say throughout the journey of starting Mentor Me Chanel and now Mentor Me Collective, I really started first with doing that one-on-one mentorship, right? And then I realized that I couldn't, do everything on my own, and my network was able to help and support me. So that's where the collective came into play. Through the collective, I realized that there was a missing link to people specifically getting into tech successfully. Yes, I can pair you with the mentor. Yes, I can do the career coaching and help you with your resume, your LinkedIn, the way that you talk about yourself, the way that you network and all the things. But if you don't have competency in the role that you really want to go for, or in the role that you're going for, if there's no education there, then our work is, in vain. So that's how we began realizing that the real center of helping, one, to close the Black wealth gap, to increase access to opportunities, is going to come from access to quality education. And the reality is, people specifically from the Black community don't always have the means to upskill or to invest in that way, especially if you're working jobs that don't give you the access or the finances that go past or beyond you being able to save for rent for the next month. So I knew that I wanted to make sure that if we do get opportunities, and as we get opportunities, that individuals who are part of our community do not have to face any kind of economic barrier to get them to that next step. And so thankfully, we've been able to create programs. We actually started our first program in 2022 with Microsoft Miro and the Barron Review to train 100 Black and Brown individuals to become user designers and user researchers. And since then, we've had a ton, at least about 80 to 90% of those individuals graduated to go on to get promotions, to start their masters, to start and complete their PhD. I mean, it's just been phenomenal, or even work at companies like Google, Apple, and the list goes on and on. And so we started there with that tailor-made program. About 90% of the individuals were Black women, or were women, sorry, and about 85 or 87 were Black women. So just thinking about, more, again, increasing that representation, increasing that access is super, super important. And again, I'm seeing the means of, those mentees and those fellows begin to, enjoy the fruits of their labor. Now, fast forward, you're right. We have partnerships with Grow with Google. We have partnerships, again, with Microsoft. We have partnerships with so many different companies and communities, Canva for nonprofit, Microsoft for nonprofit, Google for nonprofit even. And so, again, people seeing the mission, excited to support. We're putting ourselves out there as well and being confident and knowing that as we're continuing to grow, we want to make sure that folks in our community have resources that they need to continue to succeed. So now we've since launched our first cohort with Grow with Google, where we're providing free licenses, completely free for folks to get their certifications from cybersecurity, data analytics, IT support, digital marketing, e-commerce, UX design, project management. The list goes on even with Google Cloud. So we're seeing folks, we're getting ready to actually graduate, where they'll be graduating at the end of this month. So we're super excited. So yeah, we're seeing impact. We're super excited to continue that impact. And we're hoping to onboard even more partners to help us with training the next generation of technologists.
Wow, that's a huge accomplishment, especially, the partnerships that you guys have. It's in a relatively short time, so that's really a testament to how well the program works and them just really believing in your mission. So, kudos to you for that. But what I was going to ask you, because again, it went from Mentor Me Chanel to Mentor Me Collective. What was the biggest hurdles you had with getting it to that collective part?
My mentees actually became my team, which is crazy. They began believing in me more than I believed in myself, to be honest. And it actually was a mentee that told me, Chanel, you need to turn this into something that you can build upon. Because I was just okay with just keeping it as ad hoc Calendly links, like calendar links. So thankfully, God has sent really good people in my life, again, like I said, as mentees, to help with not only scaling, but also to help with connecting me to other people who want to be a part of, again, the collective. And so the collective is not only a collective team internally, but also a collective network externally. People who want to mentor, people who want to speak, people who want to pay it forward. I will say, I noticed when I came into the space originally, I encountered a lot of individuals who had this elitist feel. But outside of that, I started meeting people who actually really, really wanted to help and had hearts to pay it forward. So I will say that the challenge, I would say, really was this deciphering who I can actually lean on and who I probably was not going to be able to long term. But once I figured that out, and once we began to establish relationship, from seeing the quality of individuals and candidates that were, being referred to them or for mentorship or to be referred in general to their company, it was kind of easy for folks to say, hey, if you need another mentor, sign me up. Hey, if you need another speaker, sign me up. I want to be able to give back in this way.
What's your target audience for your program? Is it young professionals, college students, or it could be a mid-career person? Who are you really looking to target?
So this is a great question. Originally, it was just specifically for career transitioners, but I felt like it was limiting, especially in the amount of abundance of resources that we were beginning to get access to. So now it's a multitude of individuals. It's high school students who are interested in getting into tech or maybe learning more, or maybe just parents also who want their children to begin to kind of immerse themselves in it. We have early career or college professionals as well. Those individuals who are looking for mentors or resources or some kind of access to professionals in tech who can help them be better individuals in themselves and then also getting them to their next career step. We have early career professionals as well. Those individuals who are just I'm here, but I'm a first generation individual and I'm not sure how to navigate. And then we have industry professionals, right? People who are seasoned, who are excited about giving back, who are excited about learning more about how they can continue to grow professionally and personally as well. So I'll say in general, we are here to serve anyone who is considered a first generation technologist, high school student, college student, industry professional, early career professional. If you know that you're first generation, you're breaking, barriers, you're breaking the glass ceiling in your family and in your generation, we want to support you to continue to do the work.
It's nice. Now, you mentioned a moment ago about the first cohort, always mess it up, cohort of your Grow with Google program. And I'm just curious, when those folks graduate, how will you actually measure the success of that program? What are some KPIs?
Yeah, that's a great question. So first, like what makes our program different than other nonprofits who offer this same benefit, right? In terms of like giving folks free access to these certifications. So we offer peer-to-peer support, right? When you come into our program and when we accept you, you're coming in with a group of individuals who are like-minded, who are also driven, and who also want to make sure that we all finish together. That's something that you wouldn't be able to get with other nonprofit organizations, or if you were able to do the program on your own, like paid. Another thing that we offer is a project-based learning. So we want to make sure that not only are you coming in, you're learning this, going through the course, but you are leaving with a project that is something that a recruiter or hiring manager or anyone as a technological professional would deem worthy or trustworthy enough to say, hey, I can trust you to do the job. A lot of also what we do leans into sustainable development. So sustainable tech for good. We want to make sure that folks understand that, you don't have to work in a huge tech company in order to solve the world's greatest problems. You can be in your neighborhood, in your community, and create change. So a lot of our projects are based upon the UN Sustainable Goals. And then the final thing that I would say is we have access to individuals, or I provide access to tech individuals who come into those specific tracks. For instance, let's say with digital e-commerce and marketing, we're saying, hey, or digital marketing and e-commerce, hey, here's this professional in our network who is a marketer, a very successful one, for instance, at Google. We want you guys to ask any questions that you may have, lean on them for guidance and advice about how you can apply what you're learning here in the workplace. So we provide them with professionals that they can connect with and also be potential mentors as well. So we measure success specifically by those who are able, like I said, to complete that certification. They're able to submit and complete the project, and also are also attending those weekly peer-to-peer support study sessions.
You really got things covered, for sure. So great job. And, my name is Moses the Mentor. So, anytime I see mentor anywhere, it just resonates with me because I truly understand the benefit and the power of having a good mentor. It really can expedite your growth in so many different ways. It's helped me in my career. It's helped me in my investment career outside of work. So I love the fact that mentoring is at the core of your curriculum as well. It's not just, hey, I'm going to give you this coursework, you got to figure it out, but you actually partner them with people that are more than willing, it sounds like, to kind of walk them through the ins and outs, ask questions, I'm sure give, tough love too when needed. So I'm just curious, like, where did that come from you? Like, did you have great mentors growing up, or are you pretty much trying to provide for people something that you didn't have, So like, where did that form for you?
So my mentors was actually my grandmother and my mom. Growing up, my mom was an amazing and is still an amazing businesswoman. So I learned a lot of her strategy and administrative work and like work ethic, to have a level of excellence when you do something. And then also when it comes to just loving on people, like, my mom, but my grandmother, she was my mentor when it came to understanding how to serve selflessly. And that's at the core of what I do. A lot of what I did when I was younger on Saturdays, my grandmother was very much in the Church of God in Christ. So what do we do on Saturdays? We went to the soup kitchen and we was serving soup, we were serving Kool-Aid, and we was passing out tracts and telling people about Jesus. And for me, I was like, dang, I would rather be at the park with my friends playing double dutch or like doing, one of the things that, you would think kids would be doing. But my grandmother from an early age told me that life was not about me. It's about the people who I was created to impact. And so I can honestly say that through that, that was my earliest, I guess, experiences with mentorship. Now, moving on from that, like in my professional career, when I wanted to go into health science, I actually reached out to my first mentor in health sciences, which was Dr. Cato Lorenzen. He was and is a chemical engineer. He also is an orthopedic surgeon. He's highly decorated. I mean, so many different kinds of patents. He's a Black man, and he's absolutely killing it. And I realized at that time, I wanted to be amongst the people that he, poured into. So, reached out to him randomly, like one night, like who thinks like somebody will even respond to you? 2 a.m. in one night, I found him on YouTube, and I was like, I have to be in the number. And he responded to me, and he actually gave me my first opportunity as a researcher at his research institution. So shout out to you, Dr. Lorenzen. I appreciate you.
Shout
But
out.
yeah, that's how, yeah. And then I realized from having the opportunity to see people, because it was hard for me to in school to continue because I was failing classes. I didn't understand like why I was doing so bad. Life at home was so rough. But I realized I had to have something to help me continue to push and see the vision. So when I had my first internship underneath my mentor, Dr. Lorenzen, I was able to see him in the work, see it be possible for me, and it ignited a fire in me to say, hey, I can do it. So whatever is hard, whatever feels like it's impossible, it's not impossible because I see somebody who made it possible. And so that's what I wanted to give people, right? Moving forward now as a within Mentor Me Collective. I want for people who feel like it's impossible. I want for people who feel like it can't happen for them, or for people who feel like I don't see anyone who did what I desire to do, so maybe I can't do it. I want for them to dispel all of those lies and words of deceit and defeat, and now having individuals who look like them, come from backgrounds like them, have passions like them, have interests like them, and encouraging them to say, hey, you can do it. I did it, but I'm also going to help you get there too. So that's really where it all comes from.
It's great that, you had some great mentors to really, help you out through this process. How do people actually become a part of your program? Because I'm sure it has to be some type of selection criteria. You can't accept everybody. I'm sure you want to, but yeah, kind of walk us through the criteria that you look for the right candidate.
Yeah. So in that our application, we ask a lot of questions. So one, how can this program really benefit you? How do you see yourself transforming in the next 3 months after this program? What are some of the challenges that you've been facing? We have questions around even like if you are a first generation technologist. So that's really the biggest thing I'll say. The biggest outlet, we want to make sure that we are providing space for folks who are first generation, coming from different kinds of adverse backgrounds, and again, passionate about doing and the work to become a technologist. It's different to say that you're interested and you may want to do it because it's free, but we want to make sure that you're actually going to be committed, which is why we ask those other questions to really get a gauge on how this individual thinks, what they're capable or what they believe they're even capable of. Because I can't believe in you more than you believe in yourself. And then being able to lean into that and know that I can trust you to not only start, but also complete the program.
That makes sense. You got to have some skin in the game, because this is great work, not even good work. This is great work. And it's, something that you got to really lean into. So makes sense. So what's next for Mentor Me Collective? What do you have on deck, or even something that you, like you said, it sounds like you're very positive and you pray a lot on things and you keep what you really want at the forefront. So what would you want Mentor Me Collective to look like in the next few years? Talk us through that.
I see Mentor Me Collective being a titan, in the same conversations that when you talk about a Google, Apple, Facebook, or Instagram, Meta, basically. I see us leading the charts when it comes to revolutionizing the way that companies or individuals or any corporation that's looking for talent, looking for community, looking to grow. I just feel like we're going to be, again, like an Amazon that is in a little bit of everything. And Amazon has groceries, Amazon got the cars, and you know what I mean? So I just see us being at the focal of that and also being included in conversations. Hopefully my desire is that we'll even be a part of the Department of Education at the government level, lobbying and discussing policies when it comes to making sure that it's equitable and the access into not only just tech, but just quality education is really seen and felt across the United States. So that's what I see. Looking forward to seeing how that continues to transpire, obviously with also being hopefully in the next 5 years on the C-suite as well. But I just want to be wherever the Lord wants me to be.
Makes sense. What final advice or just final thoughts do you have for the audience? And also make sure you leave your best contact information, shout out your website, any social media. Again, thank you so much, Chanel, for coming on. And, the floor is yours. Talk us through it.
Absolutely. First of all, thank you for having me. I'm so excited and I can't wait to also rewatch this. So I know it's going to be incredible and super impactful. For those of you who want to continue to stay connected to Mentor Me Collective, You can connect with us on LinkedIn. We share a multitude of jobs, especially for those who are interested in getting into tech. The cool thing about when we share jobs is that it actually is attached to the recruiter who's actually recruiting for those jobs or the hiring manager. So if you're applying and you want to, hear back and you want to see a human that's attached to it, please feel free to connect with us on LinkedIn, Mentor Me Collective. Also, outside of that, you can become a member of our community completely free. We're getting ready to launch a new version, or I guess like updated features of our website. So go ahead and visit our website right now to be the first to know about it and become a member. Again, completely free, mentormecollective.org, mentormecollective.org. You can go ahead and click become a member and you'll be able to do that. If you want to continue to follow me and connect with me, my LinkedIn is also totally available for you to connect with. Chanel Power, you'll see like a light bulb and a globe emoji. That will be myself. You can also feel free to shoot me or the organization an email if you're looking for immediate assistance, you're looking for one-on-one coaching. I do provide that as well. I don't do it as often, but for the right candidate, the right person, I feel like will be able to benefit from it. It does come at a cost, but if you're interested and you are, in the space where you can invest, you can just go ahead and email me at Chanel at Mentor Me Collective, Chanel at mentormecollective.org.
Perfect. And I'll make sure to include all your contact information in the show notes. And I hope everybody goes out there, check out Mentor Me Collective. It's a great cause. And Chanel is a trailblazer, pretty much.
Thank you.
Do your thing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being awesome as well. Have a great one, everybody.